I wanted to start off by saying that I'm going to talk a lot today about masculine and feminine energy and men and women. And I wanted to say that much of it is generalized. Not all women are stronger in their feminine energy, and not all men are stronger in their masculine energy. And it could be quite the opposite in some cases, actually. It's really ideal, though, to have a perfect balance of the two, which we'll talk about. We tend to be thrown off balance at a young age by our parents and our society, and that's where things get shifted, wounded, new beliefs are taken on, and things become unbalanced. We are all very different, and we all have a balance of these energies, generally speaking, but as you'll see today, we really need to find our way back to the perfect balance. It turns out that balancing the two energies through healing ourselves is really what opens up the heart. It's also the key to self-love. And this is the secret to manifesting your best life. This is God's energy, which is also perfectly balanced male and female energy and centered around love. And we need to align with that. So these are some downloads I've been receiving recently, and we're going to really delve into it heavily today and deeply because there's just been a lot of information I've received on it. I want to do this also because this balance of masculine and feminine energy is affecting everything in our world right now, as I've been shown. Or should I say, the lack of balance in our world right now. Because the energetic heart of humanity also can't be balanced and open up to bring in more love until we achieve this energetic balance. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Alchemy of Manifestation podcast. I'm Jen Tammy at the Wheelhouse Project, and we are going to talk about how that sweet heart of yours is going to help you create the life of your dreams. I'm sure it wouldn't surprise you to hear that the planet as a whole has been honoring masculine energy for the most part and suppressing feminine energy. Or should I say, humans have been doing this. The planet is good. We are the ones out of balance. And the fact of the matter is, despite the fact that we are all male and female, we actually need to have a perfect balance of both masculine and feminine energy to achieve open-heartedness. Let me explain. Many of you likely understand that we have energy centers in our bodies, 7 main energy centers that are fairly well known, better known as our chakras. While you might know a bit about them, do you know that the bottom 3 chakras are typically stronger in masculine energy and the top 3 are typically stronger in feminine energy? And for those who know the chakras, you're probably asking, what about the heart chakra? Well, my friends, once you've healed all the other chakras and have achieved balance in them, so the top 3 and the bottom 3, your heart chakra will open on its own. It is the center of your energy system. While it may need a little healing as well, the healing and balancing of the other chakras will cause it to open and strengthen, because the other chakras are usually where the issues that broke our hearts stemmed from, where we became wounded and off balance. So if all the other chakras are healed, the heart is healed through them, and that comes from balancing our masculine and feminine as well. It's also all about self-love, and self-love means that you aren't codependent. You aren't trying to fill yourself up through someone else, that you are full on your own, which makes sense if you're balanced perfectly in your masculine and feminine energy, but we'll talk more about this in a bit. So typically, men will need to heal their top 3 chakras, or their connection to the divine or spirituality, following their intuition and gut instincts, and their abilities around verbal communication. Men tend to be raised to be more in ego, more in their head, and more logical and practical. They want to make sense of everything and work through it in their mind, which completely closes down the top 3 chakras much of the time. While women will typically need to heal their bottom 3 chakras, which are security and stability, sexual and creative energy, and confidence and self-esteem, as they are often raised to believe that beauty, love, and kindness will get them everywhere. But our world right now usually crushes those beliefs, and they end up with issues around self-esteem and insecurity, and it ends up closing down their lower chakras. So our world right now is heavily dominated by the lower chakras, and that's working to satisfy, sometimes in a very materialistic and disconnected way, our security and stability, our sexual and creative energy, and boosting our confidence and self-esteem, or really ego. The problem is that it's all very much in ego without the involvement of the top chakras and the heart. It's a very third dimensional energy that is where the drive, focus, and determination comes from in our world, coming from the third chakra, the solar plexus chakra, which is confidence and self-esteem. The focus on money and materialism around the ego, well, that's driven by the third chakra, and security and stability in the first chakra. And the sexualization of women that has become such a norm in our world comes from the sexual and creative energy of the second chakra, or the sacral chakra. Without spirituality or love and only driven by ego, these otherwise positive chakras can be quite negative. Where things are hugely out of balance and take the heart out of everything is that we as a culture, generally speaking, don't honor our top three, well, really four chakras at all. I am endlessly blown away by how many of the motivational speakers, especially men, but some women too, talk endlessly about believing in yourself, very much in ego, but never do they ever get into the spiritual aspect. So you can believe in yourself all you want to in ego, but unless you connect with the divine and your higher self, you will be a lost soul. It's all about your crown or your seventh chakra. It's where you connect not just to the divine, but to your higher self, who knows why you're here and guides you in the right direction. You have a purpose on this planet, a reason you came here. Don't you want to know what that is? If you aren't utilizing your crown chakra and you're just an ego, you are completely disconnected from the most important guidance system you could possibly tap into. Divine guidance. It's everything. You didn't create yourself. You were created, and you were created for a purpose. And regardless of if you care about that or not, you're just really spinning your wheels and going in circles and likely learning a lot of hard lessons if you aren't tuned into your guides on the other side. So the crown chakra is a really vital connection. And right up there with the crown chakra is the sixth chakra, or the third eye chakra. This is where your connection is made with your intuition and your gut feelings. Certainly not something that is encouraged in our world today. People want facts, data, metrics, research, logic. But the truth is, those are all third dimension desires and all male energy. It's human to try and make sense of things. But there's so much beyond that. What can we see or quantify in any way? You know, there are divine beings all around you right now, though, helping you with everything. But I can't prove that to you. Can you see evidence of it every day? Yes, if you're looking for it. But you have to be open to letting go of logic and being open to magic, to miracles, to really the unexplainable, and to the fact that your gut feeling or your sudden knowing of something is exactly how those unprovable beings are communicating with you to keep you safe and to move you forward on that path toward your best life. Because they are here to guide you and protect you. So you might want to learn to listen to your intuition and your gut feelings. And the last of the top three chakras that our world is not honoring right now is the fifth chakra, or the throat chakra. And that is all about communication. And I'm not just talking about a business email here. I'm talking about real conversations about feelings and emotions, honest, genuine communications around our life in every way. Intimacy, really. Vulnerability. Because the only way for us to really know each other is through this type of deeper, more heart-centered conversations. I think we can all agree that there needs to be more of this. And while I'm talking about where we are off balance as a culture, I'm not saying that you are off balance or even that you follow the norm, as I'm talking about with the masculine and feminine chakras. You may be a man that is more feminine energy based, or a female that is more masculine energy based, or you may already be perfectly balanced. There's just a number of different possibilities. And many of you may have already healed and balanced the issues in your opposite chakras, or the chakras that you weren't very strong in. But the fact of the matter is, the heart chakra will remain unbalanced and closed if any of the other chakras are healed or off balance. So how does this look in relationships? I've observed that for those that are off balance in their chakras, they tend to seek the person who is stronger in the chakras that they are weak in. While this sounds great in concept, like you would balance each other, it ends up being rather toxic. So one person is confident and the other person is not. One person is secure and the other is not. It ends up being a rather narcissist or manipulator with an empath or sensitive person. So one person is more in ego, the other is more in unworthiness. It's how we are shown what we are lacking, where we are unbalanced and need to heal. And truly, we can't fill ourselves up with someone else or try to be fixed by them when it comes to healing. We really just have to do the work ourselves. And when we can bring ourselves into balance and open our heart chakra, we have reached a place of true self-love, and we won't seek another imbalanced person. We will only resonate with people who are also in balance in the same way, which means a healthy, balanced relationship. And truly, when our heart chakra is open, we will manifest our best life and our best relationship. I've been observing some men and women in our world who are truly balanced and wanted to also discuss this a bit to show you some examples. While there are plenty of mainstream people who are balanced, here are a few famous people that you might know or be able to look into and observe for yourself. So the first one will be a well-known person to most. It's Oprah Winfrey. She's a great example of true masculine-feminine energy balance. You can clearly see that she is strong in all of her chakras and lives fully from the heart. She is secure, confident, has great self-esteem, is an authentic communicator in touch with her emotions. She is intuitive and she is divinely connected. And she very clearly has an open heart chakra. You can observe this in how she lives, the business that she has created, her strong relationship with Stedman, and in her rather bliss-filled life of everything that she loves around her. She is strong, yet compassionate, open, and yet has boundaries, kind and generous, and yet allows herself to enjoy her abundant life. She's a really wonderful example. But how about a man? The one I've used as a great example of things so many times before is Michael Singer. He wrote the book, The Surrender Experiment. So Michael, or Mickey as he goes by, is truly balanced in his masculine and feminine energy. Mickey is very aware of his ego self and lived from that place at the beginning of his book. And he takes you on his spiritual journey of letting go and healing and opening his top 3 chakras, or his feminine chakras, to his spiritual, intuitive, and authentic self. Really opening and tuning into his heart and living his life at a new level as he manifests his desires and passions into reality. It's a wonderful example of a man finding that balance in his life and opening his heart to create his dream life. And this is not just a story about a man who created a huge spiritual community either, which he did, but also about a man who became the CEO of a huge tech company, something he was also very passionate about, and he had incredible wealth. It shows that anyone can find this balance and manifest their best life of passion and joy through this healing and balancing of your male and female energies. So I want to look at this in a few ways today. First, how is this affecting us as a culture? And second, how can this balancing in ourselves heal us and allow us to manifest our best life and really start to rebalance our world? As a culture, this masculine energy domination in ego and security and sexuality is really creating a very disconnected, materialistic, sexualized world of no spirituality or honoring of our divine connection, and no authenticity, no balance or connection to yourself or your inner guidance, but instead a very driven, stay busy, overthinking, and anxious culture. And certainly no sacredness around our sexuality, but instead a very ego-based, disconnected, sex as the prize mentality, in my opinion, at least. It's all because without the feminine energy in our culture, we can't move things into a more love-based energy. It's stuck in a fear-based place. In this masculine energy world, we work hard with no compassion. We focus on the financials and not the human beings doing the work. There is manipulation, there is sexualization, and there is widespread exploitation of people's feelings of unworthiness and every aspect of people's lives, which we have also caused as a culture by our lack of compassion and kindness due to this imbalance of our masculine and feminine energies. We have a closed cultural heart chakra too due to this imbalanced energy. And really, the lack of heart in anything in our world these days is the biggest issue. And that will come when we honor, heal, and balance our energy as a culture. We have to start to turn the tables here. We need to see the issues being caused by our imbalance. You know, it really started eons ago when it became a very male-dominated, male-led world. So for centuries now, the masculine energy ruling our world has been very fearful of the feminine energies, of the magic, of the emotional, and of the unseen and unexplainable. It's been turned into a bit of a taboo thing that people have to be secret about or are just scared to openly discuss. And to be honest, it's because they fear it. They can't see it, they can't explain it, and they don't want to lose any control. The ego doesn't like to feel out of control. And the feminine energy is all about connection with the unseen to guide your life. It's about faith and feelings and following your gut. Our masculine culture can be so afraid of the feminine energy that I have seen women fired after crying on the job or just not given the ratings or kudos they should for the work that they've done. Emotions are seen as a weakness rather than a strength, something you need to get under control, which is really a very ego-based attitude. Being in touch with your emotions is a strength, though, as your emotions are part of your inner compass, but our ego culture fears it. The ironic part is that we have pushed so hard to get women into positions to try and bring more of this feminine energy into our culture. But because of the masculine energy dominating our world, the women who end up in leadership positions are often there because they honor their masculine side. I'm not saying that they're all masculine energy dominant, but I'm saying that they honor those lower chakras. They lead with male energy. They have effectively blocked themselves to their feminine energy and are at least acting in the accepted ego-based way that our culture rewards. So we're not changing anything. We need women and men to be leading who are in balance, who lead with all of their chakras and mainly the heart. Because if we can't find that balance, we won't be able to live in a heart-centered place as a culture. And that is where we need to be. And this is not a man versus woman thing. Anyone can find balance and lead from the heart. So we need to focus on leaders that do just that. So let's talk for a minute about how this is affecting things. So an ego-based society living in their heads and not in their hearts are living in fear. Fear of lack, fear of competition, fear of hurt, fear of not having enough, fear stemming from insecurities around confidence, unworthiness, etc. Fear of others, fear of perceptions, fear of connection. There's just so many fears. It's really not a place of living from the heart at all. While ego is not all bad, it needs to be balanced by the higher energy chakras or the higher level chakras, the top chakras. It must be balanced. And again, this balance is what opens our hearts and allows us to live from a place of love. So how does this look in our world, though? So for those who are only in their feminine energy, let's talk about that for a minute. So they're likely living a life that a lot of people don't get or understand, especially if they're honoring that and who they are. It could be that they're a healer or a shaman or maybe a psychic or even a massage therapist. But it's all about connecting to the spiritual and our higher selves. But likely they have friends and family that shun or don't understand their chosen vocation, who see it as woo-woo or crazy or even an embarrassment because it doesn't fit in with our male energy, ego-based culture that works from the lower chakras. But even these people living mainly in their feminine energy may need to work to balance and heal their lower chakras because often there are wounds and old beliefs there and they have shut them down because of it. So healing needs to occur to bring their lower chakras into balance, which will also heal and open the heart. It will also help them to better manage in our current world of masculine energy without getting crushed because balance brings self-love. And for those who are in their feminine energy and are trying to fit into the male energy culture, well, that can be a challenge, if not an all-out disaster. Not only have I been there, but I've watched so many people self-destruct in doing so, or who are just completely miserable and don't understand why they can't pull it together. It's because you're trying to go against everything that you are. You want to honor your sensitivities, your feelings, and your faith, but you're pushed to be more egocentric. And feelings and faith are shunned in our world, and especially in our work culture. Because if they don't have control of you, if they don't have you feeling unworthy and miserable and feeling your own security, then they can't get what they need from you. And that is work ethic, or working you until you drop for very little in exchange. You don't question it because you're told you should feel lucky. You have a job, right? Wrong. It's part of the fear of the ego-based society. It's meant to lock you in, to pay you minimally, to keep you working hard, to keep you generating money for them, to keep these ego-based companies thriving so that those at the top can benefit hugely. I'm not saying that this is all companies, of course, but there is a trend and fully accepted by our male energy dominant world. So in our world right now, while it's shifting, this heavy male energy is still dominating. It's deciding how much people have to work, how hard, what is the standard for work in our world, among so many other things. I'm just really touching on work here as one topic. But let's face it, it's gotten wildly out of control. The female energy, and especially the heart energy, when all chakras are in balance, would be the energy to bring in humane conditions, balance, sensitivity, more time off and holidays, better benefits, fair wages, and new higher aspects around work to make it a compassionate and positive place for those who choose to work for certain companies. Now, doesn't that sound better? But really, this is what our male energy dominated world fears because they think it will take away from what is rightfully theirs, that it will hurt them financially or materialistically. But really, what they don't see is that a balanced and happy world is an abundant world for all. We will all thrive in this loving world. And this isn't a pipe dream either. You know, we're starting to move in this direction. People are waking up right now on this planet and starting to heal themselves and open their own hearts to balance their own masculine and feminine energies. People are seeing that the masculine energy must be balanced by the feminine energy. And like I said, this is the only way to bring in heart energy, and that is the key to manifesting anything that you desire in the highest and best possible way. But don't get me wrong here. This is not that men have to be more feminine. It's about our energy centers. It's really more of the unseen. Healing what our society has impressed upon us, healing the wounds that we have around being forced into certain male and female roles in our society and in our homes. Men suppressing their emotions and living in ego, and women being more submissive and self-sacrificing. And these are huge generalizations, but you get my point here. So I also wanted to make some quick observations here as well around noticing some other signs of imbalance in people. I realized that when masculine energy is out of balance or our lower chakras in a person, that sometimes there can be eating disorders or eating to try and fill yourself up. So people could be overweight potentially or have challenges around their weight. The fact is the energy in the lower body is centered around the GI tract, and you will subconsciously feel that and know that it needs healing. And eating or even starving yourself might be the avenue you take to try and subconsciously fix it or fill the holes and the wounds there. And these, again, are wounds from childhood, wounds from, family, wounds from society, different things that you need to heal. And it's often a very blatant sign that you have healing to do in those lower chakras. And this is true for all the different areas of the body as well. So you usually find issues where there's energy blockage or imbalance. So headaches or just constantly overthinking things to a point of anxiety. It might be that you're scared to connect with the divine or your higher self. Scared to let go of control and surrender to the unseen, and subsequently have issues or imbalances in your upper or your feminine chakras. So where can you begin with healing this and balancing yourself? There are so many ways and avenues you can take. For those who are open to it, energy healers can be a great avenue, and likely one that will be taken more by those who honor their feminine energy to balance and heal their lower chakras, just because they're more connected with energy healers. But if you're looking to help someone who is stuck in the male energy, who is open to healing, and who probably wouldn't be caught dead listening to this podcast, true, you might try a hypnotherapist or even a regular therapist, because usually we have wounds and old programming around those chakras that need to be healed. And these are just some of the avenues where we can open and balance them again. It's not that a man or someone in his masculine energy has to get spiritual to open his higher chakras, though it will likely happen naturally as he heals in those areas of his body, because it'll open a new awareness. But, it's really about healing the wounds from childhood, from society, and even self-inflicted unworthiness. I've talked about healing a lot on some of my past podcasts, though, and my blogs. So take a look at those at thewheelhouseproject.com, because I'm sure you'll get some other inspiration and insights and ideas on ways that you can proactively, I should say, heal yourself or take a healing journey with whoever or whatever energy healing or healer pathway resonates with you. And I encourage you to do that. Again, that's at thewheelhouseproject.com. But regardless of the avenue you take, and like I said, there are many, healing your energy body and all your chakras is essential. This is how we will shift the world. That and honoring your newfound balance and your newly opened heart. I'm talking about everyone here too, men and women. We all need to heal ourselves and balance our chakras and open our hearts. This is how we're going to rebalance our world. The more healed and balanced people we have who honor both the masculine and the feminine in a heart-centered way, the more our world can live from a place of love and not fear, because we've been living in fear for far too long. So I hope this has been helpful or interesting or maybe inspiring for you today. The fact is, we all need to participate in making this change by healing ourselves and shifting the energy of our planet. So I'm really inviting you to step fully into this. And let's face it, as I've talked about in my other podcasts, living a heart-centered life is the key to manifesting your best life. It's about co-creating with God, loving yourself, and loving your life. Everything will come into alignment for you once you balance and align your energy and open your heart. You will be able to manifest your best life and truly to change humanity for the better just by healing yourself and your energy. You really can't do better than that. It will change everything for you. So what have you got to lose? Better life, better world. I hope you decide to take this healing journey. We're going to rebalance the energy of our world and bring in the love. Thanks for joining me today. Please subscribe to the podcast and check out all of our other resources, videos, blogs, and more at thewheelhouseproject.com. Remember to sign up for our email list while you're there. And also check us out at The Wheelhouse Project on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest.